The purple ones are where you're going to see the attention. The three big states in the the three states in the Southwest: Nevada, Colorado, and New Mexico, Missouri, and Iowa. A whole bunch of Rust Belt states: Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Ohio, Virginia, Florida, and New Hampshire are really the states that I believe that this election is going to come down to. Okay, so with that in mind, let's take a look at some scenarios. Okay, and to look at those scenarios, what I decided to do over here was I put all of the states, I listed them over here in a little simple Excel spreadsheet. The blue ones are the ones that voted for Kerry in '04, and the red ones are the ones that voted for Bush in '04. As you can see, there are many more states in the Bush column, but again, that doesn't matter. It only matters who wins the Electoral College votes. The total was 252 for Kerry and 286 for Bush. Now, the magic number that Obama needs is 269. There are 538 Electoral College votes altogether, which means 269 is exactly half. 270 is obviously you win a majority. What if it's 269-269? Then Obama would win, because if it's 269-269, the rule is that it goes to the House of Representatives. Each state delegation to the House of Representatives gets one vote, and they determine who the president is. And the majority of states right now have Democratic delegations to the House of Representatives, and therefore, if it is a tie, Obama would win. So Obama's magic number is 269. McCain's magic number is 270. So that means Obama has to flip 17 electoral votes in order to win the presidency. So let's take a look at what this means in terms of regions. Now, remember, let's talk about the Southeast first. That was one thing I mentioned that may be a dark horse region that will decide this presidency. Virginia, North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. Now, I said that I thought that if Obama won two of those, he would have a very strong chance to win the presidency. Let's assume that it would be Florida and Virginia, just for lack of a better term. We can try you can try all the other permutations if you like. Not that big a deal. There's a great website called 270towin.com, and you can go there, and the number is 270 to win, and 270towin.com, and you can go and flip around with all the permutations that you like, and I've spent many hours on that site. Okay, but let's take Virginia and Florida and flip them and see what happens. Okay, so let's put Virginia over here in the Democratic side, and let's find Florida. Here's Florida. Now, if we do that, then Obama gets 292 to McCain's 246. That means McCain, all of a sudden, if the Virginia and Florida are flipped, McCain is 24 votes short of winning the White House. Now, 24 votes is not going to be easy for him to get. Let's assume that he holds all the rest of the Bush states. That means he would have to flip, let's say, for example, Pennsylvania with 21 and let's say Michigan. So I guess if he could still win, if he wins Pennsylvania and Michigan, or Pennsylvania and really any other state almost, he could offset the loss of Florida and Virginia. But I think that it would be very, very difficult for McCain to do that because, let's face it, if he loses Virginia, it means he's in trouble in that area, and Pennsylvania, of course, doesn't quite border Virginia, but it does very closely, and it would be hard for me to envision McCain, losing Virginia and winning Pennsylvania. I mean, it's certainly possible, and they are in different regions, at least according to my analysis, but I think that losing those two is a big problem for McCain. Let's say, for argument's sake, that he manages to lose one of those states only, Virginia, let's say, for example. Then, all of a sudden, this becomes very, very close. Now, let's say McCain keeps Florida. He's likely to keep Florida. I mean, right now, Florida has, I think, an 8.3 point spread in favor of McCain in the Real Clear Politics average. Again, you never know what could happen between now and the election, but, Hillary Clinton, I think, would have been a little bit stronger than Obama in Florida. I think McCain probably will win Florida. So let's assume that Obama can take Virginia. Then he needs to flip a couple of he's most of the way there. Again, I think what I'm going to do is, for all purposes of all our analysis, and again, you never know what's going to happen, I'm going to put Iowa in Obama's column. Based on my analysis before, I think Obama is going to win Iowa based on his performance there in the primaries, based on Iowa's trend in general. If he flips those two, if he flips Iowa and Virginia, he wins. He has now 272 electoral votes. That's enough to get him over the top. Okay, now let's take a look at the Southwest, which I mentioned was an extremely important region of the country. So you have Colorado, New Mexico, and Nevada. Now, again, keeping Iowa in the Democratic column for the time being. Let's say Obama is able to take Colorado, along with Iowa, of course. That I don't believe is enough. It's close to enough, but no, 1 second. I didn't delete Colorado from this side, which you have to, obviously. You can't give it to both sides. Okay, so now that's not enough. Interestingly enough, if Obama just keeps all the Kerry states and flips Iowa to his side and Colorado to his side, that's not enough. McCain still has 270 to Obama's 268. Now, if he takes one more state, any state, let's say for example Nevada. Where's Nevada? There's Nevada. Or New Mexico. New Mexico is probably more realistic. If he wins one of the two, it'll probably be New Mexico, especially since he might pick Bill Richardson as his VP, but we'll see that soon, hopefully. Then he wins. If he wins these three states, Iowa, Colorado, and New Mexico, he wins the election. On the other hand, Iowa and one of those three states is not enough. That's why I mentioned before that assuming Iowa flips, which I believe it probably will, although you never know, 2 out of those 3 southeastern states will be enough to win the election. Okay, so now that's the Southeast and the Southwest. What about the Rust Belt? What about if some states are flipped in the Rust Belt? Okay, well, let's see what happens in that scenario. First of all, let's, for the time being, put Colorado back to the Republican side. Let's put New Mexico back to the Republican side. Now, if you remember, and even for good measure, just for the sake of my next little bit of analysis, I'm going to put Iowa back to the Republican side so that everything starts off the way it was before. Okay, now if you remember, the election last time came down to Ohio. If Kerry would have won Ohio, he wins the election. Why? Well, let's just do that experiment. Let's put Ohio in this column over here, and you see the final score is 272 to 266, and the Democrat wins. So that's why, even though Kerry, lost by 286 to 252. He lost by 34 electoral college votes. And even though there were many states that were closer than Ohio, that Kerry won, for example, Wisconsin, which he very, very nearly lost. But still, if he would have won Ohio, when all is said and done, he would have won the presidency. So if Obama manages to flip Ohio and keep Pennsylvania and keep Michigan, then he's done really the Kerry strategy, except successfully, and he's won the election. But what if it goes the other way? So that's really what Obama needs. He either needs to do well in the Southeast, or he needs to take Ohio, or he needs to take 2 out of the 3 Southwest states along with Iowa. Any of those 3 scenarios will win him the election. What about if it goes the other way, though? What if McCain does well in the Rust Belt? For example, what if McCain manages to flip Michigan or Pennsylvania? If McCain flips Michigan, and McCain flips Pennsylvania, let's just take worst case scenario for Obama. Okay, well, first of all, we have to take Michigan out of Obama's column. Now, McCain, with all the Bush states plus Michigan and Pennsylvania, now has 324 to 214 electoral college votes. Now, I said before that if McCain flips 2 Kerry Rust Belt states, he wins the election. Why is that? Well, let's see. Let's take all of the states that I thought were swing states that went to Bush and flip them. Let's take Colorado and New Mexico, put them in the McCain column, take Virginia, take maybe, for good measure, we'll even throw in North Carolina. Why not? Take Nevada, which was another swing state. And he's still short. Now, I guess if he took all of those plus Florida, then that would be enough. Yes. So if he takes all of those plus Florida, then he could win the election even without Michigan and Pennsylvania. But that's a tall order. Asking him to flip, well, I guess Iowa we gave him before, so we should give him now also. But to give you an idea, if McCain manages to do well in the Rust Belt, and again, I'm not going to give Obama Ohio and McCain Michigan, because I just don't think that's consistent. I'm going by regions. If the candidate does very well in a region, I'm not expecting opposite results in the same region from states. I think if the Republicans win Pennsylvania, they'll definitely win Ohio, and if the Democrats win Ohio, they'll definitely win Pennsylvania. I think that's just generally the way it's been over the last couple of few election cycles. So if McCain wins Michigan